What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Picks and Roll DFS. For today's video, August 20th, we've got some strong plays lined up. But before we get into them, let's start with the recap. Yesterday, we swept the official plays, 2-0, and we've also been on an absolute heater inside the VIP on Winnable. I'm sending out winning slips every single day across multiple apps, just like this. As you can see, Chalkboard, PrizePicks, Parlay Play, Novig, Betr, etc. And if you did tell yesterday's sweep, do me a favor, smash that like button. And if you're new here, enjoy these breakdowns, hit subscribe. It helps this platform grow, and it lets me keep doing this for you. And real quick, the Founders promo on Winnable is still open, but only until September 3rd, the day before the NFL season kicks off. That's $30 a month instead of $50. And once it's gone, it's gone. Lock that in now, and you'll get access to all my VIP cards and daily picks. And for new users on Betr, we've got a free square today. Mike Trout, lower than 99.5 home runs. That's a free win right there. Plus, if you sign up using code DIME and send me a screenshot, I'll give you a free month inside my Winnable VIP. On top of that, when you play just $10, Betr gives you $30 free instantly. Links below in the description. Let's go into today's first play, which is UC Kikuchi, higher than 1.5 walks allowed. All right, so first let's get some of those lines across multiple apps. As we can see, PrizePicks, they have this at that even rate. Hard Rock is favoring this at -120, as well as Underdog. Sleeper -132, huge favorite there, as well as Novig at -155. But then at a larger book like DraftKings, right, you see that it's at -160. So this is largely favored. Then if we look at some of that data, in his last 10, he's gone above this line 7 out of 10 times. His last 20, gone above this line 13 out of 20 for a 65% hit rate. We don't have any head-to-head data, but we can look at the year where he's gone above this line 18 out of 26. Okay, then we can look a little further. To give us a little insight there, he's had at least one walk in 13 of his last 15 games. But he's also cleared this in 13 of his last 15 home starts, averaging 1.7 walks per game. The Reds aren't a high walk team overall, but against lefties, they still carry an 8.6% walk rate this season, and Kikuchi's walks per 9 innings sits at 3.8. That puts us in a strong spot to see at least 2 free passes today, especially as we saw that this is largely favored at like DraftKings, Novig, Sleeper, etc. So this is a play that you can choose on multiple platforms. I'm playing this on Betr. All right, play 2. Giancarlo Stanton, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs against the Rays. Now last night, the Yankees went off, and I'm hoping that Stanton is going to continue that run today. Let's look at some of that data. Okay, so again, lines. First, we see at Hard Rock, this is a +105. So that's a great opportunity for you to get some good money for this play. You can see that it's not even available on a lot of different platforms, right? See at Underdog, Fliff, we see a favorite -115 at DraftKings and -115 on Sleeper. But this isn't even a play that you can get on like PrizePicks, which shows that this is a solid play. You want to take advantage of this while it's still around. And then let's look at some of the reasons why this is a solid play. So his last 10, he's gone above this line 8 out of 10 times. Last 20, gone above this line 16 out of 20 with an average of 3.3. And then head-to-head, there's some key data that you want to look at here. Right around here, this is from last year. So we're really looking at 4 pieces of data, which then means he's gone above this line 75% of the time, going above it 3 out of 4 times. And then, as I told you last night, the Yankees were on an absolute heater They destroyed the Rays 13-3. You can see that he had 2 hits, 2 runs, and 4 RBIs. If he does half of that, we still crush this line. Then we can look more. He's exceeded this line in 12 of his last 15 games on the road, averaging 2.9 hits, runs, RBIs average. We can see he has 4 plate appearances versus Drew, and he has had a few hits. Average goes up a bit. And we can see if he continues the role that he is on, this is a no-sweat bet. All right, so these are just a couple of the plays from my research today. But I've got more action locked in inside Winnable. If you're enjoying these breakdowns or if you're tailing today, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me keep building this community. All right, now let's talk about a couple of leans I've got circled for today. Now, these are not official plays, but the data is worth noting. All right, so first up, we have Drew Rasmussen under 4.5 hits allowed against the Yankees. Now, he's been sharp lately, and we can look at some of this data. He's been holding opponents under this number in 7 of his last 10, averaging just 3.9 hits per game over his last 20. So we can see here. So we look at the last 10, right? He's going below this line 9 out of 10, 14 out of 20 for 70%, and then head to head. Last 2 times he's played the Yankees, he's held them to under 4.5 hits. Sorry. Then we can also see that, like, aside from what we're just saying about yesterday's, like, crushing defeat of the Rays, the Yankees haven't technically been making a lot of contact. They're hitting only .220 over the last 30 days against righties, ranking bottom 5 in batting average during that span. And then given Drew's stuff and the New York struggles at the plate, aside from, like, yesterday's absolute destroying of the Rays, the under makes sense here. Then, second lean I have for today, Sandy Alcantara, under 4.5 strikeouts against the Cardinals. All right, so we can see here, he's gone below this line 8 out of 10 of his last games for an 80%. He's gone below this line 14 out of 20 for a 70% hit rate in his last 20. And then head-to-head, only 1 matchup, and he held them to, he went under 4.5 strikeouts with just 4. Then we can look a little further here. We can see that he's failed to exceed 4.5 strikeouts in 10 of his last games at home, averaging just 3.7. And then we talked about that game against the Cardinals where he held them to he only had exactly 4 strikeouts. And then the thing about the Cardinals this season, they don't strike out much. They have just a 20.4 strikeout rate versus righties this year, which is top 10 in the league. The matchup plus his consistency around that 4K mark makes this under very live. So let's recap today. We have Kikuchi higher than 1.5 walks allowed. Giancarlo Stanton higher than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And then the unofficial leans. Again, you can kind of play with these how you want. You can add this to the 2-man. You could make it a separate play. You could add all 4 if you want in a round robin style. Or if you're a new user and you add that Mike Trout pick to one of these to kind of guarantee your win on the one you feel the most comfortable with based on the breakdowns from today. Your choice. And then unofficials. We have Drew Rasmussen under 4.5 hits allowed and Sandy Alcantara under 4.5 strikeouts. So that's it for today. Drop your favorite play in the comments, smash that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow with more plays. Let's build that roll.